Hi there. I would agree with the fact that nonverbal communication is a much more powerful component than verbal is when it comes to communicating with others. And the reasons I believe this is because of how nonverbal communication portrays your messages and intent, and also how it shows you're listening. And to start with your intent, I really like the example that the text and the text uses when it's talking about someone else giving a speech, and when someone's words and presentation doesn't quite line up with their nonverbal cues, that kind of makes it questionable and it contradicts themselves. And that's really the telltale sign of how that person is and how convincing they are, is their nonverbal cues. And if someone's given a speech with super well put together information, but they're tapping their foot, they're whispering, and they're just look really timid up there, then we're often not going to find them as credible, and it's going to be a little bit harder to take their information and trust it. Whereas if someone presents the same information, except this time they are totally confident, they're boastful, and they're using strong body language and nonverbal cues, then we're going to take that information to heart. We're going to listen better. It's just going to go over better for us. And that's because of the nonverbal communication. Even though the verbal part was the same and the information was, I think it's a much stronger sign of a much stronger way of communicating. Sorry. And I also think it's a really good way to show you're listening is through nonverbal communication because it's more convincing to the person speaking when you're actively listening, when you're using your eyes, when you're nodding, understanding, maybe asking questions verbally once or twice. Much more than just to strictly verbally affirm and I don't know the right word to use, but things like that. If someone was talking to me and I was only to say yeah, or the same repeat phrases over and over, they're going to get tired of it and they're going to lose trust in me. They're going to think I'm not listening to them. Whereas if I were to show them I'm listening with my eyes, by nodding, by maybe even my posture, it's going to be a lot more convincing to this person that I am listening. And I think it is for those two reasons that show how impactful nonverbal communication is and how much stronger it can be than verbal. I think there's a lot of situations out there too where verbal communication may actually be a little more impactful than nonverbal. However, I think those situations are much less common and they occur and don't happen as often. But I think it could be argued for a few cases there. But I believe that's all I have.